Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Agents of Clix, a bi-monthly podcast for everything Heroclix. My name's Sean and I'm joined today by Chris Dunn and Dale DeAndrade. Hello guys, you alright?
Hello.
Hello. Fine.
Good. We'll not do much small talk this week because we've got a lot to cover in the news section with spoilers and whatnot. So Dale, do you just want to crack straight on and get us started with the news?
Yeah, we'll go for it. So there's loads of stuff happening. Mainly, the big one is Deadpool. It's gone from a little trickle of the odd character here and there to just, we've got 80-90% of the start dials all spoiled now if you want to check HC Realms for it. None that we've talked about it as before we start recording, and it really underwhelming as a set goes as far as I was concerned. Like, it's fun, it's a great set, but for a competitive one, not so much. You know, there's Deadpool if you like that, there's a million of them. As far as shifting focused ones go, I'm obviously going to try and get them all because I like that idea, but I don't think he's the strongest one. I think he's somewhere in between the Batman and the Superman being just the best one they've done so far. Couple of highlights. I think we found a new 10 points. He's the auto include if you're going to stick in a 10-point one instead of the thug, unless you're going for the theme. I'm probably going to say this wrong. Koi Boy, a fish person who is annoying to break away from for the sake of 10 points. And he has a trait which lets him choose a character and they have to break away as if he's adjacent to them. Getting -1 to breaking away. It's not bad for 10 points. Animal keyword, but not much else. Apart from that, we had a quick look through and highlighted a few of them. Dr. Killbrew, we liked with his strange way of modifying, with his white square power. It specifically, rather than modifying the amount of damage you have, modifies the amount of damage you deal per attack. Chris specifically pointing out Dr. Octopus for the doing multiple flurries with lock damage, things like that, still having your +1 damage on each one of that, so that can end up being huge.
And he shares a keyword with Dr. Octopus.
He does, he is a scientist. So why not?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the generics? Does anyone have an opinion on the new list of generics? We've got, was it Ninja, Attending, what else was there? Rogue Scientist, Mercenary.
Yeah,
I don't think Attending is technically a generic though, but it has a real name.
It does have a real name, but as far as I was aware, Attending is just like another name for like a nurse or a hand for medical procedures.
His real name is Francis Fanny.
Who, funny enough, that got dropped.
Hilarious.
That got dropped. Funny enough, that last name got dropped from Deadpool for the movie. But yeah, I don't know. The Ninja's underwhelming. The Mercenary's underwhelming. The Rogue Scientist is a cheap at-wit who can give other people power action at-wits if you really want to make it. It's another, you know, we've talked about this before when you've got your characters like Jarvis who are there to do a job and it's not really to take actions, they just get carried around. It just gives them another tool for it. It's cool enough.
I think they're just like point fillers for sealed games, really, aren't they?
Pretty much.
And yeah, I can't see myself playing ninjas or rogue scientists unless I'm trying to just fill. I suppose you could fill points on a martial artist team and you got 15 points left over, or a Hydra team and you think, well, I might as well squeeze one of these guys in.
I'm trying to find something else that was kind of interesting in terms of, rather than it just being a kind of remix of a dial that already exists. We've talked about Dupe, maybe the 35-point version. It's only got 2 clicks. One, they both got sidestep, both got prop control. Tiny's a flyer as well. Invincible on his first click if you're playing the shorter dial. Regen on the second one. Maybe if you want a replacement for Atomica when she's gone, we've talked about, or if you're specifically looking for that kind of reroll in an X-Force, X-Men, X-Static team, is traits funny as well, if anything. You can potentially make it rain like Thor hammers for the fun of it. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just reading that now actually for the first time. I haven't had a chance to look at the dials really, and that's quite funny.
I would be hard pressed to see anyone play the 90-point version. Yeah. I'm very surprised he's not Power Cosmic. I mean, it wouldn't break him all that much to be Power Cosmic. I'm quite surprised he's not. But there you go. Fenris, a nice 60-point character with a lot of damage in them. I'm not super excited for it, but they're alright. I mean, they'll just join the pantheon of 60-point secondary attackers that are potentially worth taking.
Yeah, I think it's if you might be able to do shenanigans with them if you can give them like free attacks or something like that. If there's anything out there that still does that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because you're doing like penetrating damage or you're causing knockback. With like an 11-4, it'll be you get +2 as long as it's a range attack. Obviously, Bizarre Green Arrow makes them cry.
He makes everyone cry.
He makes everybody cry. Yeah.
The Dead Girl brings in a couple of things. There is now this. I don't like it myself. I think it's not very strong because it relies on the opponent's team having these things, and it's also a little bit of a lazy way around it. But she specifically can't. Her attack on her first 3 clicks ignores stop clicks. She's not the only person with a very specific counter. And we've talked about Deadpool already and his turning off your prop control if you want to use it for the rest of the game. I think he's better because he's just a better dial in general, and for 80 points, it's just gravy. Apart from that, there is, for me, one exciting thing. Go on.
I was going to say, what do you think of the Super Rare Prime? Whiz-Kid?
I'm very glad to see a Super Rare Prime. It's garbage. It's about time.
I don't think it's garbage.
I wouldn't say it's garbage.
No.
You mean look at him? You can look at him like Weasel or something like that from the Deadpool set, who was a great little person who was an uncommon. You just have to pay about £25 more for this.
Yes, yeah.
and
use up your prime slot.
Yeah, he's not bad. If he was 25 points in normal, he'd be all over the place. If he's 25 points in super rare, he'd probably still be used. But because he's 25 points and in prime, he sits up your prime slot. And I mean, we've seen Jakeem takes up your prime slot. Everyone just plays Jakeem. Yeah. I think we've got another vampire to add to the pile of garbage. In Hellcow, it's funny. Everyone loves Betsy. I've thought of exactly one use for it so far, and it's that it now saves up one of your sidelines if you're playing Animal Man, because you don't have to put Streaky and Donatello in there, because the cow comes with Hypersonic and support at the same one. That's as much as I can think about it. Apart from that, we've a couple new chases. Again, we've talked about them off the air. I think Pirate Deadpool's cute, but nothing exciting. Pulp Deadpool has a lot of attack, but it's probably too expensive. I would have liked to have seen Flurry in that movement thing, and then maybe we'll talk. I think Venompool's the best one. Has anyone seen them all yet, or?
I think the best looking one is the MODOK one. I love the look of that one. In terms of sculpt.
The destructive
engine of assassination despite.
I can't pronounce that word. Obsessed with opponent liquidation.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the sculpt on that one.
So yeah, all of them are they're nice, they're fun. The idea of having like Champion Pool and Hulk Pool in particular, I think, is probably my favourite after Venom Pool. No, second favourite. I know we're obviously saying chases here, but not talking about the Ultra Chase. That thing is a thing of beauty. It's like, here is something people actually want it because it is just so funny. I mean, the model's brilliant. Yeah. Everything about it is just nice designed. It's cute. It's funny. He's not going to turn up but he's not kind of a overpowered piece of garbage that only the super rich will be able to play and will win every game with. He's just nice. I'm excited.
Yeah, he looks nice on a shelf.
Yeah, he'll look nice on a shelf.
I haven't seen the Golden Age Deadpool dial. Has that been around yet? I think it's probably been on Facebook more than likely because it's had the pre-releases in the States, haven't they? Started doing that.
I've seen the front of his card and his sculpt. He had his panel is for Smoke Cloud, which is garbage.
Yeah.
Um,
And he's wearing a gas mask. So
he's
that's
wearing a
problem.
gas mask. And he can carry and has defend as a trait, but unless his numbers are something amazing, I think I seen he was like 100 points something, so he's probably not that amazing. But I'll try and pull it up because I can't, as soon as I remember where I found it. So I think, unless anyone else has... one last thing. There's a trait that has the potential of adding another model to the list of things I don't like. Strife. The Legacy Virus trait sucks. I don't like it. Potentially it's going to cause another FAQ about what happens when he dies and kills the other team with him. But he's not all that scary.
I don't think it needs an FAQ. I think I just need to read
Clarify,
the rules around. I can't remember now if he's like the last character, if he gets killed. I think it waits till actions resolve. I can't remember now, but yeah.
We'll inevitably mention it later.
FAQ'd. I just need to look it up.
Yeah, someone needs to kind of bring it up because it's going to be mentioned.
I'll probably look it up while somebody else is talking.
Yeah. Before I move on to the bit I want to talk about in the Deadpool set, has anyone got anything else to mention, that any highlights for them or a character they're excited to see for the first time, anything like
that? Not from the main set. I can't wait to have a look and see what the new Phantom X is like from the Fast Forces.
Yeah, that's the big chunk of what's missing is the two Fast Forces sets. I'm excited for them. There's normally something good in there. I think I'm probably leaning more towards getting the X-Force one first. The Mouse probably second, if at all. But yeah, if Chris hasn't got anything else to mention that we've already gone through.
I don't think there's anything that's standing out for me.
So
I think I'll probably see about getting like the shift and focus Deadpool, because I think there's probably something there.
Maybe there's three that I like. There's a teleporty one. There's the halfway through his dial becomes tiny one. And there's a Blades cause one, and obviously you just teleport in and Blades and loads of damage. I think that's 90% of what he's going to end up doing. But I do like the mid dial for that one that goes tiny. That's fun. Yeah, I will move on to the bit where I really want to talk about the title character. It's a new, very wordy thing, which hopefully will just become title character. Another thing like stop powers, where it's just in the rulebook so that everyone just learns it and gets over it rather than have to have this printed out every single time. Effectively, they have a bizarre, very wordy trait which gives them access to 3 powers, or this particular Deadpool has 3 powers, or I imagine it'll probably be something similar. If any of the listeners have any familiarity with magic, I have very little, but I do know of this. There's a planeswalker characters. Essentially, it usually boils down to you have one ability which is passive, which you use almost all of the time, slowly gives you tokens. In this case, Deadpool gets one of his tokens if he heals a click at the beginning of turn. Just heals a click. Or whenever he wants, heal a click, take a little token, add that to your pile. He has...
Just to stop you there.
I've got it wrong already.
No, it would just to avoid using like Heroclix keywords. It isn't passive, so you're basically choosing one of
the abilities. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually, you just need to know which one you're activating.
Yeah.
So, but you can just choose. One of them generally gives you a plus, and the other 2 are like a low minus and a big minus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're building up tokens to try and like get off your better abilities.
Yeah.
Using the +1.
So yeah, it's +1. If one you'll be using 90% of the time is you just heal him. Just one click. Boom. There you go. Helpful. It's a nice little regeneration thing, whatever. This next one costs you 2 of these tokens. You have to have healed at least twice to do it, but it allows you to stop opposing characters' combat values from being increased until the next turn. It's like outsidering the whole team for 2 tokens. That's pretty much how it gets worded, isn't it, Chris?
Sorry, I was looking up something.
Yeah.
It is... Can be increased.
Yeah.
So it's similar. It's not outsidering.
Just better.
Because it's more like the Nighthawk Prime.
Yeah.
Where you can still like decrease them, you just can't increase them.
And then
so it's better than outsiders. Yeah.
And then his last one is if you can get 6 of these tokens, you can use this slow-mo bullet time. He makes a ranged combat attack targeting Each opposing character within the range, which he has 6 of, he ignores hindering terrain, characters, and can shoot characters while adjacent. He does 2 penetrating damage to each person hit, as opposed to normally assigning damage, and he can use probability control for that attack. For me,
Nice.
so there's his powers for that one. The other things about being a title character is you can only have one. If they die, you incapacitate your entire team. If he activates one of his special abilities, not the healing one, but if he activates the triggered ones, the ultimate distraction to the outsiders plus thing, or the slow bullet time, if he doesn't attack, he does take a damage. But apart from that, I think I know I'm going to be saying this because it's a very wordy and confusing thing. I'm not sure if those 2 bits there, the takes damage and does 2 tokens to the entire team, doesn't deal push damage though, if that's specific to Deadpool or if that's going to be for all title characters.
I think it'll probably be specific to him. I would have thought so, because it's specifically...
It says that it's one of they describe them as closed book and open book.
I don't see why you would make them like specific to all title characters when you could
just add that to the rules.
Yeah, I would just say, right, that's going to be for Deadpool because specifically deal them damage if I don't attack and token people up. So yeah, I think it's probably going to be different for any different title characters.
In terms of the actual Deadpool himself, I think he's 70 points. He has a perfectly really good dial for 70 points. If that's all he was, with that dial, 70 points, and maybe he had a trait where he healed 1 click every turn, he'd have probably been played. But I think that title character, I think the upsides aren't strong enough, I think the downsides hurt too much, and he's not tough enough to make it as far as I'm concerned, unless you're gonna really if you're gonna possess him, perhaps give him some defense powers, maybe. But I don't see it. I'm probably not likely to use this particular title character, although I'm excited about the idea of some very complicated key focal point characters, like a tentpole, but who is designed as that. I'd like to see Superman, Batman, Wolverine with similar abilities.
But by title character as well, it might be that for each set they do that has a character in it, they'll do a title character. So I'm assuming that's what the title means.
Probably.
Yeah. We're doing a Thor set, so there's going to be one Thor in there who's a title character.
We're
doing a Captain America set. They're doing a Captain America who's a title character. I would have thought so.
Potentially, but, I think that.
Who knows?
I'd hope. I like the idea of that. I don't know. I'd like to see more than just one per set, because then it really doesn't limit you a lot. If they've specifically made a rule saying you can only play 1, so then making it so there can only be about 8 in total if it's like live at one point.
I wouldn't like to see them flooding and just everybody have one in the team.
That's an odd. Yeah. There's four primes per set, and they're not in every single team.
Well, they have been recently.
Most of them are crap.
Well, we've just spoken with this. I think this one's a bit crap. So, as far as title characters go, we'll see. But yeah, getting off Deadpool and something slightly less Deadpool related. We'll go on to. We've got pictures now of a lot of the Con exclusives that we mentioned previously. We've seen the sculpts of them. Rocksteady Bebop is just 2 on the dial. We've seen Mecha Shredder. Did we mention that before? I don't remember talking about it.
Cyber
Shredder. Sorry, I'm just going to anime for him because he looks
I think we might have mentioned it because it's probably appeared in a solicitation previously, but we didn't obviously know. I'm not aware of that particular show that he appears in, so yeah.
I think it looks cool. We've seen the Spider Carnage model. It was nice. The Zeus is not the Batman villain Zeus. It is the God of Olympus throwing lightning bolts Zeus, looking like a mixture between Shazam, Captain Marvel, and the Wizard Shazam That it looks cool. I'll probably hope to get one. We've seen pictures of the Sinestro. It is just the old giant yellow sculpt. Doesn't look like they've changed anything, including the very breakable lightning bolt. But he has been shown to have a 25-point dial, so we're all assuming that's going to be a colossal retaliation, I believe.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, he's hoping. Maybe something interesting like he lightning bolts one guy and then it just chain lightnings off and he just attacks. I don't know, from that person's. He hits a character, then shoots as if he's that hit person's character to the next one, and kind of links them along or something like that. Or does 2-3 damage to that person, 2 to the next one, and then 1 penetrating to everyone else who gets hit, something like that. I don't know, just me going off the motif for me shooting lightning bolts. Was there any Connex models that you've seen that you thought were exciting and eye popping out there, Chris? Or
I like the Colossal, so that I've got one of the old Colossal Sinestro and figures, and it's still a very nice sculpt after all these years. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a replacement for that one with a dial you can actually play.
Sean, any standout new model that you've seen?
Well, obviously we haven't seen any of the dials, but I do. God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I do like the look of that, the sculpt of that Bebop and Rocksteady. Can't believe I've just said that.
Well, nice.
I think
look at the cartoon
it's
one.
a nice style.
Yeah.
If you've got the duo
Nice
attack
sculpt.
and they might have decent stats, then you might actually think, I might play them.
So I feel like I've looked this before. I think I'd looked. I don't think they don't have the duo attack. They don't have the duo figure symbol.
Don't know.
Oh well, I'm out then. I changed my mind.
So
maybe they're not going to.
Maybe they'll be.
Maybe they're like. Who was the last person that had a duo attack? Was it in World's Finest?
World's Finest.
Is that the last? No one else has had duo attack since then.
Not that. Oh,
yeah,
Lex and Joke, like the opposite of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the image now. It doesn't have the duo attack. So.
What?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've changed my mind. Rubbish.
The Plastic Man and Doomsday are definitely new models. But we can't say anything on there to note that's exciting other than Doomsday's unique. Spider Carnage comes with an FX base with the claws on it, so he's probably going to have some sort of bleeding effect, like a few people that we've seen already. There's other things that dropped from that same one. We've seen a new set coming out, a new Fast Forces for the Marvel Knights coming out. It looks like there is a lot of sets dropping this year, but we'll try and do a list of all the ones that we're aware of so far next. But I do have
that Marvel Knights looks as if it's part of the Avengers Defenders.
Yeah, that's the feeling I was getting with it. It was part of the same exhibit. But
I think there's going to be a starter set in those. Is that? I can't remember now. From solicitations, I'm sure they said starter set for both of them. Rather than like a Fast Forces.
Right.
But I don't know if there might be a Fast Forces as well as a starter set, because I think everybody was looking forward to getting new rule books in those starter sets.
Yeah, maybe. Anything else that I've missed on the Connexes before I move on?
Don't think so. These are the Connexes that from the toy fair, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the majority of things we've already spoken about. We know about them already because we'd have to solicit. It's just now that we've seen models of them, and the mecha one snuck up on me. I didn't know that was a thing. Apart from that, so I'll move on. The next thing I could see I found that is being spoiled is the Young Avengers OP kit drop in. A Falcon, a Miss America, and Hawkeye. I'm not sure if she goes by Hawkeye or Kate Bishop on the dial.
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop, so you're not going to be calling her in with IDs. The Falcon's cool for 50 points. Leadership is a trait where if you pass it, he gets either enhancer and power. And apart from that, he's just a pretty straightforward 50-point flyer as far as I can see. But I like Falcon, and his precision strike's called Falcon Punch, which if you're a Captain Falcon fan, I like. Miss America has an interesting trait. If she hits you, she gets to put a token adjacent to her, and then summon one of her friends to that to make a close combat attack against the guy. Well, no, I'm saying this wrong, aren't I? She punches somebody, makes a token next to her, which one of your characters can then take a close combat action to teleport there and punch the guy that she punched in the first place to this 1-2 punch. Is that?
Pretty much.
That's the gist of it. And then Kate Bishop is a 70 point. Nowhere near as good as any other person who carries a bow. I feel like everyone who has a bow in the game has always been pretty amazing for the past 5 years.
Bad.
Not great though.
She's got 11 attack, 3 damage, and you can give her range combat expert. So you could do 11 attack, 5 damage.
Yeah,
it's not terrible.
She's not terrible though, by any stretch. But I feel like compared to a lot of the archers that we've had, I suppose she gets the option. Yeah, she has the option of close combat expert or range combat expert.
Is quite good.
Yeah, so she can do 5. I mean, I wouldn't have thought like Kate Bishop should be doing 5 damage, but yeah, I think she's quite good.
Free action and she's close combat expert or range combat expert. Yeah,
it's just it's for me. I think it's just that she's only got 5 clicks, and I think we've talked about this before, where 1775 clicks, are now looking at 6-7 length dial of pretty solid stats, and she's really, I see her as quite top heavy.
Well, she's a bit of a glass cannon, but like because she's got a shortage of range as well. But anything else? Anything else wants to mention in the Young Avengers before I move on?
Only this OP kit finally contains the replacement Proteus card.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's about time.
Yeah. So it's coming out with this kit apparently.
So you actually know what his powers do. Imagine.
Yeah.
It's only ever Felix who has ever played him at the 200 points, so no one else cares. Just look at his last click and just go,
that'll do.
Well, all I need to know is his last click. I don't need to know what that funny special power is that no one knows what it does.
It just in case anyone who's heard this doesn't know, Felix, he's the reigning national champion who won with Proteus possessed by Eclipso, if I remember right. A couple of Colossals and Pandora's box giving him Sloth, and because of the last stop click being a stop click where you can only ever hurt him with close combat attacks, and he's going to have at least 19 defense with probability control, he was a nightmare to take out. So basically he just survived, and if you did turn hit him, he had a Colossal coming back in the face, and he won with that one. I believe the final was bouted out of, because it was versus Alex, which would have been an incredibly hard.
It was him and Alex in the final, and they basically decided to roll off because it was getting late.
Yeah, it was late. Everyone had to go home. Alex had won one already and was quite happy with his second place prize, and it was, I believe, going to be you could see.
Yeah, they didn't roll off. I think Alex just conceded.
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones where it was going to be a hard match for him. It was a long day for everyone, and he'd already won, and everyone loves the mad scientist. So there you go, finally got his title. So yeah, we'll go on to quickly run through the sets that we're aware of so far before we move on from the news. We don't have set dates for any of these, and it wouldn't matter if we did, because we know it's WizKids and everything's late anyway. So we'll give you our best guess on the order and go from there. The next set, obviously, is Deadpool. After that is the 2 15-year anniversaries. Obviously, chime in if I'm wrong at this. It looks like
we've got a Guardians of the Galaxy set.
A mini set
coming out. Yeah.
Is that before that? Is that before the 15-year? When's the movie out? Of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I could be wrong. There's no order on the solicitors.
No, they're not.
I think we're struggling here because
there's not information.
HC Realms release schedule thread has not been updated, so we're busy trying to remember when things are out.
So the movie itself's out in April, so I think we can safely assume it's probably going to be in that kind of ballpark. So it probably is going to be before the 15 years.
The WizKids date is probably April for the Guardians
That's
of the
it.
Galaxy.
It's a small mini set, same as almost all the movie ones. You buy a one file booster pack. Will probably be something like 16 models. 12 you can get if you're in the UK. 16 if you're in America. And you've got your Target stores for your other half of the rares because of reasons that I'll never know. Then the 15-year sets.
And Rocket and Groot will be the ones that you can't get.
Inevitably, why wouldn't there be?
Especially there'll be a great baby Groot that you'll never see.
The Marvel comes next with the What If set for June. The month after is July is the Elseworld set. So you're looking at what if Batman was a Green Lantern instead, or if the Civil War continued on instead of ending at New York, and things like that. It's all getting models for various bits. I'm hoping they go full out with it myself. I hope it really is going to be basically 50 plus models per set, each of them being Elseworld stuff. Nothing really. I don't want to have, any model for the main 616 Marvel Universe or Earth One. That's just me. I want a completely insane set of bizarre things you'd never have thought of.
Both of those sets, the Marvel one and the DC set, there's also starter sets with those two sets as well.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. So that's when the rule book should be.
Yeah.
There's no word on what they're going to include so far, is there?
I don't think we've seen anything. It's just all speculation as well as I'm aware.
So it'd be
apart from they do have like case incentive figures.
Yes, so you've got the Skyscraper Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
and
that's for the
Captain
DC.
Ameridroid.
Captain Ameridroid, or however they're going to name it. But yeah, the set most iconic DC heroes is what they've described it as far as I can see. Maybe just a Justice League from.
Said it just says iconic versions of mighty Marvel heroes.
Maybe it's just a Avengers Justice League set, but with alternate versions. You've got the Barack Obama Superman and Gaslight by Gotham's Batman, that kind of thing. Maybe we'll see. But excited for that all the same. You've got mixed in that the undead, the rebirth of Heroclix things. Again, that we've not really got any word on that, have we? On what it is? It is just generic dead things, not relating to any universe.
There's a Jekyll and Hyde in there.
So it's kind of open property kind of characters. So you'll probably have a Frankenstein's monster in there, and Dracula probably.
Well, they are doing a movie universe, a shared universe in the movies, aren't they?
They are.
Paramount.
Have they announced whether or not Dracula Untold is going to be part of that? I heard that was originally the plan.
That was originally meant to be the first one, wasn't it?
But I'm not sure if.
So is it going to be Dracula versus Godzilla?
No, that'll be King Kong versus Godzilla.
King Kong versus Godzilla is coming out.
Does Dracula not fight Godzilla?
It's a shame. He's probably fought weirder things in comic books.
The Mummy, the new Mummy movie, is going to be part of that universe.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And apparently Dr. Jekyll's in that movie as well. So
that's one I shan't be watching.
Yes.
It's who's playing Dr. Jekyll? Russell Crowe, isn't it?
Russell Crowe, yeah.
If there's one actor I can imagine taking a drink and turning into a fighting monster, it's Russell Crowe. Apart from that, then we move on from 15 years and undead things to, we think, Avengers and Defenders, which may or may not be before that. We have no idea.
That's May.
It's looking like it's May. And then we got Thor sometime in the winter, autumn months. So if you're a DC fan, you're getting nothing this year, and you like it.
Well, and there's a Wonder Woman movie set coming out as well at some point, a mini set?
I imagine so, but I've not heard it.
May time, I think, as well.
There's a Justice League movie.
Gravity Feed.
There's a Justice League movie coming out this year as well. That must be getting a.
Well, I don't think that's been announced yet. Oh, not the movie, but the set.
Fair enough. That would be a bit of a.
Is that going to be out sort of Christmas time? Is it?
I cannot remember. I'm doing good here, aren't we? Supposed to be giving the news out, and I don't know squat. Just the
Well, we're not doing film news.
we're not, but
No.
we're trying to release things. It's being released in November as it stands, so we'll probably get a set there.
You've got the Colossal organised play kits coming out as well at some point this year.
So is that essentially like the storyline ones? That they're not doing a storyline this time?
I don't think they're doing a storyline one this time. They're doing the Colossal organised play, so there's like various different Colossals as prizes. And then they're recommending using the 15th anniversary sets as and doing sealed events.
Okay, yeah, why not? I'm okay with that. A bit more freedom for the actual distributors to do what they want with it.
Yeah, I'm just a bit suspect at looking at some of them where you've got the Ferris Air Jet as a Colossal, and then the Merc Jet is another Colossal, and you just know it's going to be exactly the same sculpt but with a different dial.
So long as it's not just a reprint of the Quinjet, because hopefully we'll be getting rid of that by the roll.
I don't
imagine it being it.
Do that anymore.
But I think it's going to be like Wonder Woman's Invisible Jet.
What, trash.
That Invisible Jet's all right.
You've converted yours into a Santa sleigh.
Yeah.
So
still got the same dial,
and it heals people. There's presents for everyone.
Yeah, and it barriered, and I made little presents so that he just throws his presents out as a barrier.
Well, has anyone got anything else to add on release that I've probably forgotten about?
Nope.
No.
Thank God for that. So that is the news done with. After I feel like I've been talking for half an hour. So how about I do something we're not talking about? I didn't do a WizKids Open, but these 2 days. So Chris, do you want to start off and tell us what you played, who you played against, and how you did?
Well, this was the WizKids Open at Wayland's Forge. Me, Sean, and Sean's son Matty attended last weekend. There was about 20. There was a few people who didn't turn up,
I think 27 in total.
There was an odd number, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Somebody had to buy. Yeah. So, and it was the great and good of the UK Heroclix world, I think. There was quite a few people. There was 2 previous national champions. There was, I think, everybody who had won a WizKids Open previously attended.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah. No, I think you're right in that. Yeah.
So the competition was fierce.
Oh yes.
Yes, Sean. The competition was fierce. I managed to get 4th place. Got knocked out in the semi-finals. Sean, how did you get on?
I didn't make the top 8 cut. I did absolutely appalling.
And how did what did Matty? Matty just missed out on cut or something?
Matty just missed out on the cut. Yeah, he did better than me, but didn't make the top 8 cut either. But did considerably better than me in his matches, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, I played Jakeem Thunder with Bizarre Green Arrow and Mr. Mixelplix. I played with the Pandora's Box with 4 Sins and 2 ID cards. I sort of a bit of a departure team from me. I don't normally sort of play tentpole teams. I normally play like swarmy teams or have a lot more figures than that on the board. I quite enjoyed it though. It didn't frazzle my brain because we've had five rounds, which I think before cut, which probably was one too many really. By the time we ended up the time for finishing and things like that, was getting on quite late. So we had 5 rounds and then we were cut the top 8. I won the first 4 games. I lost against Alex, who eventually went on to win. He was playing the Jakeem Thunder with Eclipso and Faust with Brainiac on. I think the Pandora's Box with 2 Sins. I think my only... And then I lost in the... I won the top 8 to get me Hank Pym tank. And then I got beat by another Jakeem team played by Stuart Kenwood, who would also won a WKO before. He was,
that was top 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was top 4. Yeah. So I quite like my team. I was playing it. It was quite defensive, apart from I ended up playing like three games against other Jakeems, and I think mine, Mr. Mixelplix, kept getting killed by Jakeem by hypersonic and imprecision striking, and I'm getting quite annoyed at like, oh, Mixie's dead again. What a surprise! But I think then Jakeem maybe didn't have quite enough legs to actually take out a Jakeem who had Eclipso on them. I think I basically lost. I got their Jakeem came in, killed Mixoplex, then my Jakeem smacked their Jakeem on the head with something, but couldn't kill them, and they eventually came back and beat me. So that's basically how I lost both games, I think, against other Jakeems. So.
But what about your win of the tournament, Chris? You haven't talked us through your top 8 match. And
top 8 match.
You know, when you against Jack.
That one. Yeah, against Jack. Yeah, that was an exciting game. This was against Jack Pashley, who was playing Overdrive, Mr. Mixoplex, Nick Fury. Did he play something else as well? I can't remember now.
He has the points too. I imagine he must have played something else.
I can't remember what else he played. 120, 90. There was some other figure on his team, which obviously didn't do that much because I can't remember what it was. It'll come to us in a sec.
Nighthawk Prime?
Yeah, so. Might have been. I know he likes his Nighthawk
For
Prime.
as much as Jakeem gives 2 hoots.
Yeah, Jakeem's not that bothered. Yeah, so he's basically carrying around. I think I won my pro, which was basically made it very difficult for him. I stuck him on an indoor map because I wanted to use Jakeem's sort of mobility, and obviously Nick Fury didn't have that much mobility because he doesn't. Although he was playing with Pandora's Box, so we have the run shot prob. So he was hoping to get like a run shot with Nick Fury. So I put him on the Jean Grey's indoor map, because I think it's the only indoor map that I brought with me. And I think I made one attack all game, which was actually a critical miss. He probbed it into a critical miss. I sort of knew that, right? I because obviously my Bizarre Green Arrow is sticking his fingers up at Nick. So if he had to do a running, if he wasn't able to turn off either of the powers on Bizarre Green Arrow, if I knew, right, I'm not going to give him line of fire on me. So if he had to do a running shot to shoot me, he would do precisely 0 damage, because I would just put a token on Bizarre Green Arrow and just go, well, you've got -2 damage there. Thank you very much. So I knew that he was going to... All I needed to do was avoid getting pulse whipped by his Mixie, and then just use Jakeem's mobility, just by picking Hypersonic or whatever, to just keep out of his... run, because he didn't have any TK, just his running shot pulse wave from Mixie. So he ended up trying to tie us up with Overdrive. He pushed Overdrive once to try and catch up with me. Damaged Overdrive, because obviously when he was in his vehicle, damaged him, and then poisoned the vehicle again, killed Overdrive. Tried to make one attack, critical missed with Jakeem, the hypersonic, and then just spent the rest of the game just running away. And because I was alternating turning Mixie Colossal to carry everybody, and then Jakeem carrying everybody, so I never had to double token or anything like that. So you just couldn't do anything. So that won me a tank.
Won you a tank.
So that poison won you a tank.
Well, I knew he was just going to go, right, I'm not going to poison him, and then just like it.
Yeah, win's a win.
Win's a win.
I do want to say that I did look at this up after we were playing, because it was annoying me on how on earth you say Mixie's name, and because he has turned up in pretty much every Superman cartoon live action. They do say it differently, but the majority of them follow of Mixlick, Spitlick.
Mixlick. Yeah, I'm not going to say that.
Well, on this week's Supergirl, he's pronounced Mixie Spitlick.
Mixie Spitlick. It's because I think the one that spelt out the best for me was the old Superman animated series, where he pops up a blender, licks him in the face, spits at him, and then licks him in the face again. I was like, oh, okay, that kind of spells it out. But as they did all say it's slightly different.
Spit out, yeah.
But he is. It's a stupid name. That's the point. so I think we'll stick with Mixie. I like that.
Yeah,
Mixie.
Yeah.
I try and call him Mixie, and for some reason I keep referring to him as a she as well.
I know.
It's a she.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've just started saying she all the time. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I do like him. I like Jakeem, and I must apologise to Tino, one of our nemesises from the Cosmic Cuddles team. Yeah. I think me and you, Dale, were looking down at Jakeem and saying that, oh, I'm not sure he's that good.
No.
And he's proceeding to
I actually
win all the WKOs inside.
Before he even came out, I had played Tino, and we'd spoke to him after we'd finished, and we were talking about it. I liked him. I think he had potential. Tino taught me into it pretty much in like 2 sentences. I was like, actually, now you think about it, yeah, I'm against you and what looks like a lot of the world. I would always put on one of the possessors. I would personally, I lean towards Brainiac, because I like the remove if they take a power action, you clear power, and I don't think it makes a huge difference which one you pick. I think the only issue is the possessor dies 1 click before Jakeem. But I think in my head, if you get to that point, you've probably lost anyway, or the game's pretty much over. So who cares? And
well, in the game that I lost, I had my Jakeem was on. I smacked him with exploit super strength. I got him down to his last click, and then my Jakeem was on my top click, and I still managed to lose. So
did Eclipse help?
Occasion,
yes,
yeah, because he got steal energy from it. So on the end of dial, because then he didn't have to pick steal energy for one of his powers.
Fair enough. Having never played this, obviously this was just my theory crafting on it. The majority of the thing is they both work, because all you want is a good defense power without having to pick it, and being able to go, well, I'm going to pick hypersonic speed and super strength, and then not have to sit there with energy shield deflection. And once you've finished your action, that's essentially all it needs to be there for. I think I'd pay 25 points for that any day.
I think it's less useful top dial. It becomes more useful further on down your dial, because obviously top dial you're not getting any stat boosts.
Yeah.
So you're just getting 1 power, and I don't want to pay 25 points for 1 power. Is why I didn't. And it's sort of points wise as well. If I want to play with Bizarre Green Arrow.
Yeah, Bizarre Green Arrow covers a lot of that.
If I'm trying to, it gives me defense just by saying, well, you can't shoot me.
But
generally.
But Sean, how did yours go, Sean?
Well, I've played Bat Soups, a different variation of the one I played at Stockton. I played Justin Safer, Batman, Superman, Robot, Baxter Stockman, and Bizarre Green Arrow with a 2-sin box with Sloth and Lust on it. My first matchup was against KC Flash, Bizarre Green Arrow, and a 2-sin box. And like an absolute moron, I did not put Lust on Batman, Superman, Robot. I put Sloth on him. I kind of did it, passed the turn, then realised, what have you done? If I
You've given him a shot.
Yeah, and basically he took out. He didn't KO Bat Soups, but he took out all of the support pieces with the exception of Bizarro. So it was, and he put me on that premium map, which is the ship with all the containers on.
Yep, and you can't fit.
And I just couldn't fit, and so the only attacks I could make were at range. So yeah, I spent most of the time shooting Bizarro Green Arrow, and then he spent most of the time healing him back up because he had Sloth on him.
Who were you playing in the first one?
I can't remember the guy's name now. It was I think it was Stuart's team I was playing, Stuart Kenwood's team, but it wasn't against him, obviously.
Was it one of the Pratley brothers? Do you know Will?
Don't know. I don't know them as well as you do. I remember them from nationals from the year previous. Right. Canny bloke. I mean, we had a good laugh playing. I mean, although I kind of knew I wasn't going to get the win, so it was still an enjoyable game. There was only one game that I didn't enjoy playing the entire day, and that was because it was like, I'll come on to that. That was like my last match of the thing. So then my next matchup was against Tim. I think his name was Tim.
Tim Garrity.
Tim Garrity, yeah. I thought everything was going fine. Just didn't see that Spider-Man calling using Superior Spider-Man, who would then flurry me with an ultra-heavy object and KO my Batman Superman robot in one attack. Didn't see that coming at all. So that kind of set the tone for the day for me. That was like, you're
done.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah.
I'm done. Third match against another KC Flash team. But this time it was KC Flash, Quicksilver, and Ha 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 Joker. Beat that team. Did
you put Lust on Bad Soups?
To be honest, no, I didn't, because I thought like there was no. I thought I could get my defense. Well, the map I was on, it was a fairly open map. I thought I'm going to be able to get you here, and I did. Basically, I took out Quicksilver fairly early on, took out KC Flash not long after that, and then he was only left with Ha 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 Joker, and he conceded after that. Still, it was a good game. I didn't feel as pressured at that point because I was like, well, I've lost this already. I'm not going to make top 8 at this point. But then I faced Tino in my next match. And I'd had a conversation earlier in the day with Tino after my second match, how he explained to me how Batman Superman robot wasn't viable competitively.
Despite the fact that you beat him.
I beat him with Batman Superman, yeah. So he was playing another roundtable team with Toy Soldier, Penguin, Jakeem, the 25-point Nightwing, full round table. I'm trying to think if he was playing anything else. I don't think he was. I rolled Energy Explosion early on with my box, and he was saying, go on, hit me with Energy Explosion so I can turn my box. So I did. KO'd his Nightwing, put his Toy Soldier fairly low down, attacked again with Bat Soups, KO'd his Toy Soldier. He was left with Jakeem. He then called in Nick, tried to target Bat Soups, but Bizarro said, no. So he dealt 1 damage. In fact, was it 1 damage? He dealt 0 damage, I think, to Bizarro Green Arrow.
I love Bizarro Green Arrow for
he's great. He's great.
Nick has been terrorizing teams forever. Pocket Nick, he just goes 5 points and I'll have the best figure ever made.
Yeah.
Just about. And I will crush you. And Bizarro Green Arrow just goes, sticks his fingers out.
And then I used Bat Soups to go in and KO his Nick that he called in.
Yeah.
He then called in Jocasta, and he ended up KOing my Bizarro Green Arrow, because I think at that point he was like, well, every time I'm trying to target you, I'm hitting Bizarro Green Arrow, so I may as well just go for Bizarro Green Arrow. I took out Jocasta, and then I felt a bit bad for him because I'd attacked him and he managed to get his round table up to click 3 to power 3, and he called in Captain Thunder off the as like a real boy kind of thing, and then hypersonicked in to attack Bat Soups, but was worried that I'd hit my shape change, so positioned him next to Baxter Stockman, who happened to have Lust on him. So he wasn't able to then make the attack. At this point, I thought, I'm just going to outweight your hypersonic and just run to the other side of the map, which I did, and then time was called shortly thereafter. So that was my second win of the day, and then I asked Tino if he still thought Bat Soups wasn't viable competitively. We had a laugh about it, but. And then the worst match of the day, my 5th match before the cut, was I talked about the team I think last week. It was that animal themed team with 2 Titanos, 3 Clarions, and a black dog. Ace the Bat Hound here. Oh my god. I don't think he rolled less than a 5 on any of his attacks with Tickle. For his blades.
Tickle never rolls. That's all he rolls. He only rolls a 5 and a 6.
It was excruciating. It was like I knew like that going in. There's no way I'm going to be able to. I mean, it was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. I mean, nothing against the guy. I think it was Andrew Davidson. Nothing against the guy playing the team or the team itself. It was just I knew going in it was going to be an uphill struggle. He took out. I mean, I think. Second turn, he took out both Justin and Baxter with 2 Tickles, and I kind of from then it was just I didn't score any points at all off any of them. I just couldn't hit. I couldn't roll higher than a 4. He couldn't roll lower than a 5. Like for his blades, it was painful. And there, that was the finish for me. That was me out of the competition. But it was all good fun. It was painful that last match, but it was an enjoyable day.
Yeah, I think we said last time that it's a good aggressive team. You get good to pick map with it, and it can do some work really. I mean, they're obviously quite old squishy guys, but I think if you are going to play that sort of team, you need to theme it, because then you can get the benefit of like you picking the terrain.
I mean, he could have retaliated. I mean, because I did make attacks. I think I did. I may have damaged someone. Maybe not. Maybe that's why I didn't retaliate.
Maybe you've never actually damaged anybody.
Yeah,
that's why you didn't.
It's all a blur.
Titanos wasn't sitting there.
It's all a blur, and of course I stupidly sidestepped next in between the 2 Titanos, and then realised, oh crap, they've both got plasticity. I'm kind of stuck here now. So yeah, that didn't that wasn't pleasant.
Did you remember the plasticity stacks?
Yeah, I did at that point. Yes. When I was like, I've got hypersonic, but you've got plasticity times 2, so I still need a 6 to break away. So it was a painful lesson. Mm-hmm. So it
was a long drive home as well.
Yeah, especially when we what was it, 18 mile in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we got a bit lost in the city centre. It's dark.
And then I still need to get in touch with them about my premium map as well. I left my premium map behind as well.
You've not phoned them up?
No, they've messaged me telling me how much it's going to be. I just need to get in touch with them and pay the.
It's nice of them.
Pay the postage. Oh yeah, definitely. So. Mm-hmm. So it was.
Yeah, so a big thanks should go out to the store and also to the judge, Anthony Chilton. Yeah, who ran it. It was a very enjoyable day.
It was very enjoyable.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And we've got another one coming up this weekend.
Yes, you have.
You're going to be the judge.
I'm judging it. I'm judging that one. Yes. So I've been. I was down there yesterday sorting prizes out and stuff. So because there was a bit of a last minute panic because the prize kit hadn't arrived, but it arrived yesterday. So we're all good to go.
And it's going to be. Do you want to just quickly?
Yeah.
Where it is?
It's at Geek Retreat Newcastle. It's on Sunday the 26th. Hopefully this episode will be out before then. Sunday the 26th of Feb. Doors open at 12. We're hoping to start by 12:30 if we can. So for anybody who's coming along, can I encourage you to complete your army sheets before you get there? Although blank ones will be available. Should you not be able to? We've still got we're having to cap the event at 28, but there's still plenty of spaces. So if people are thinking about it or are sitting on the fence and not sure, I encourage you to come down. Make pay just to contact the store though, and just put your name down on a list. They do have a reservation list, so to speak, but no, they're not taking advance payments or anything. So if you're wanting to come down, just give the store a ring, put your name down on the list, and then just show up on the day.
And we don't expect it to be sold out.
No, not at all. I mean,
looking at like the other numbers for double key, especially like the Stockton one, which is like a comparable because of the area.
Yeah,
I think they're just a little bit further away from the main sort of
Yeah, I know we've got
for
some of the Scottish guys coming down.
Yeah. And obviously, Tino, Alex, and Co will be along. We have to beat them.
Yeah.
I've never beaten Alex.
Dale, well, you can beat Tino. I'll beat Alex, and everybody else can beat the rest of them.
I have beaten Tino, but I've played Alex at the same game twice, at different venues. One was at I've played him 3 times. One was in the qualifier where I came second in the end, only losing to him, but qualifying because he'd already qualified 2 years ago. We then turned up to nationals, and because we both qualified, played slightly sillier games on the first day, and he beat me there. And then we played the exact same teams we played in our qualifiers during the round robin, and I won map and picked the exact map again to replay it 'cause I thought I had a chance, and I managed to mess it up again. And I think you beat him on the top 8, didn't you, Chris? So that I didn't have to play him. Got to play you instead.
That was one, yes, and you could beat me because you'd be beating me in every single practice game we ever played. So yeah.
Well, it was that team.
You knew that was an easy game. Then.
It was far from easy, that particular one. But yeah, that was nice for those ones. But yeah, anything else? So wait, I'm going to make sure that I note down the name of everybody I play and take a little photo of the team so I can actually remember when I'm talking. And it's not the only one we're going to, is it? Before we record next.
Well, we're hoping to go down to Manchester one, which is the weekend after.
It's the 4th, Saturday the 4th, yeah.
Yeah.
It's up in the air whether Matty and I will be there for that one. Just because we've got Etsy's birthday on the 1st, and we've got life goes on, I guess. Yeah. But we're hoping to, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So is that's it for news then, Dale? Is it in WKOs and stuff?
That was a big long one.
So here comes quiz.
I was going to say we'll move on to the rules now. So so Chris, over to you.
Just before I start on the rules bit, just going back to what we said previously about ending of the game, it does wait until the action has resolved. So if you're checking for players who I know this was talked about like an hour ago, you're talking about Strife.
Yeah.
Strife. So you do not end it until the action is resolved. So I'm assuming when he gets owed, you're waiting until his trade sort of kicks in and resolves, and then you check in to see whose characters are on the map. So you could end up just like mystics really. Well, it depends because you get victory points. So if somebody has got underbuilt a little bit, somebody's got 298 and somebody's got 300, then obviously the person who has scored the 300 will win.
Exciting stuff.
Well, it's just, it's happened before maybe. If you've played a game and you've killed each other because you've got Mystic's feedback damage or something like that, and you've ended up, taking it, or you've something like, or you've pushed yourself to death and you've killed the opposition figure as well. It occasionally happens. Right, okay. Going on to the rules bit, wherever I've put my little sheet. So today, something I was going to say relatively straightforward, but I'll better not say that.
Yeah, don't jinx me. I think I'm
because when we get the question wrong, it'll make us look stupid. So don't say that.
So we're looking at basically combat values today. I was trying to go through because there's not a huge amount of very exciting new rulings coming out on the official forums. So I was going through the erratas and clarification section and trying to pick out things that I thought I know that people get confused about, or I've seen. I've had to explain it several times to somebody and things like that. So anyway, combat values. So rather than just going through everything about combat values, I've picked out 3 little bullet points, which I think is the things that sometimes cause confusion. The number 1 is that combat values are only calculated when they are specifically needed to be used. I'm not going to explain that. I'm going to go to the next one. If multiple replacements or lock values would be applied, the controlling player chooses the order to apply them. So I'm assuming that multiple replacements might come up fairly frequently, as in you cannot fly, you are in hindering terrain, and you use running shot. Then there's 2 replacements happening at the same time. Yeah. So there might be other things that happen when you're replacing values, when you're locking them. There might be 2 instances when you lock So the controlling player chooses the order to apply them. And the third point is that when a calculated value is calculated during an action, that calculated value is used for the entire action unless the value specifically needs to be calculated again. Is that straightforward, or do I need to explain what I mean by
Okay, no.
that?
Yeah.
I think I'm with you so far, yeah.
Yeah, so you might say you're using, you've got a value, let's say speed or whatever. Something might change your speed during the action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it does not matter. You whatever speed you started the action with, you're finishing it with.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So I've got a quick quiz to see if you listened
dun,
to
dun,
those
dun.
3 bullet
Right.
points.
Nope.
Right. I've got 4 questions, so I'll alternate who I'm going to ask them.
Oh no, it's even worse.
Right.
I can't copy your deal. I can't copy you.
Right. So I'm going to ask Dale this one. Okay, Overdrive has a superior to the other guy's trait, which says that once per turn for all characters with this trait, if a character uses a Sinister Syndicate team ability to replace their attack value with Overdrive's, that character can use Sidestep this turn.
Okay.
So my question is, can Dr. Octopus replace his attack value with Speed Demon to gain Sidestep outside of an attack action? So
I'm going to be wrong.
Doc-
No, because
Go
you
on.
can't check. You can't, if his attack value doesn't come into play, it doesn't get checked unless he's doing something that's relevant to it, i.e., making an attack.
Correct.
Yes, I got one right.
Oh, pressure's
Yeah.
on me now.
That basically goes back to my first point. It says that combat values are only calculated when they specifically needed to be used. You do not need to calculate your attack value when you're trying to move.
What about
Um,
when you? Here's one back at you then. What about
Okay.
if I wanted to get the sidestep and I wanted to punch a wall? I don't actually need to roll an attack roll for it, but it is an attack.
I believe you do.
Do you? This
Yeah.
is news to
I
me.
think so. Well, when you're making an attack, you can
Yeah.
still.
Critical
enough to
miss.
say, you're making an attack. You don't actually roll. You cannot roll dice. So you do not roll dice when you're attacking a wall. You cannot choose to roll dice when you're attacking a wall. So there's no. But you're still making an attack. It's still an attack. So I still think you could replace your attack value. I might be wrong, but that is what I'm gonna guess.
So, but I'll look into this one. But yeah, there's a more complicated counter response. But I'll shut up now.
Okay. Right. Sean,
Yeah.
I know you've used this figure before, so you better get this one right.
Go on then.
Prime Dr. Light has a trait, I think,
Yeah.
bouncing around the world at light speed.
Uh-huh.
At the beginning of your turn, you may roll a d6. If you do, you replace Dr. Light's speed value with a result plus his printed speed value until your next turn. Yeah?
Yeah.
So my question is, the opposing character has outwitted his flight. He has a sprinted speed of 10. I roll my d6, I get a 6 at the beginning of the turn. So I start my movement in hindering terrain, and I want to use running shot.
Okay.
So what is my maximum speed value? And what is my speed value going to be? No, because you can do it in different ways. What is the maximum speed value you can get?
So
Because
he has a printed
you've
10
got
and you've rolled a
different
6.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What does the power say, sorry?
It
Because it's been a
basically
while
says
since I've played
that
him.
after the beginning of
get-
your turn, you roll a d6. If you do, you replace his speed value with the result plus his printed speed value until your next turn.
Okay. Then I am going to say 16. Because you modify and then replace.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. Sorry. You replace then modify. So therefore, if you're going to running shot, you would running shot. Oh my god.
The D6.
You replace then modify. So your replacement could be the half of your speed,
Yes.
and then you half it again because you're coming out of hindering,
Yeah.
or either way, and then you replace it with the 16.
Yes.
So there's 3 replacements going on.
Yeah. So 16 is your answer, yeah?
Yes.
That is correct. Again,
around it.
you're getting three. You got 3 replacements, but
Yes, and it's up to you to decide which order you do it.
Yeah, so you do the other ones, and then you replace it with 16. Correct.
Yeah.
That guy can running shot for 16. I wasn't playing at this point, but I didn't realize he could running shot 16 squares. That's insane.
Yeah, its stats aren't very good, so yeah. Right.
How can you remember that I've actually played that figure? I
remember
you
doing it before. Yeah, but I remember it. Okay, Dale.
Yes.
You like this one? Flash has a printed speed value of 14. He activates hypersonic speed. He moves 7 squares and attacks. I think I've told you the answer to this when I was
a little bit.
Moves 7 squares and attacks a character with a Mystic's team ability. He takes 1 unavoidable damage and his speed drops to 13. So how many squares of movement does he have left?
7. Because he's already started moving.
Yeah, when I explained my bullet point number 3, I should not have used that example.
I did. Yeah, as soon as you said that, I thought this is going to be one of the questions. Yeah, so he's already started moving. So no matter what the changes during the thing, doesn't matter. He keeps his movement.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who gets sweaty palms during this section?
Can't say I get sweaty palms.
Okay.
I just admitted defeat before I start.
Right, and Dale got it right, Sean. You need to get this one right for a full house.
God,
okay, last one. So a character activates Flurry. They have 11 attack. They hit, damages a character with a Mystic's team ability again. After taking the 1 unavoidable, their attack drops to a 10. For the second attack, what is their attack value?
10.
And why is that?
Because you only calculate your attack value when you need to, and based on the last bullet point you said, your attack value has changed during the action. Therefore, you have to go for your new attack value.
That is
the
correct.
second attack.
Yep.
We got it.
Ooh.
We figured this out.
Yeah. So although I did say for the third point that the calculated value is when it's calculated during an action, it is used for the entire action. There is the bit at the end that says unless the value specifically needs to be calculated again. Because you're making 2 attacks, you will need to calculate your attack value again for the second attack. Well done, guys. You got them all right.
It's only took us four episodes.
Yeah. I don't know whose microphone that was.
That was mine, I think.
The excitement of
it was. That's what it was. It's all the positive feedback.
Okay, so we're fine with combat values apparently.
We've got this. So
okay,
what's next?
Right. So
that is the end of the rules.
Okay, great, great. Well, thanks for that, Chris. So I think we'll move on to the team challenge now. Chris, you gave us the lovely. Was it Donatello?
Donatello.
I'm hoping it was, because if you say no, then I'm like, oh dear. Donatello to build around, and you said any Donatello, didn't you?
I did say any character, unless you found a weird character that has Donatello in the
No, it's not nothing like that. Well, as it was you who issued the challenge, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Okay. So I also, when I issued the challenge, I did not say it has to be modern age. So I cheated and gone back in time and used a resource that's better than the crappy ones we have at the moment. So, my team is Donatello. I've picked, you might want to have a check of the unit section because you go, I have no idea what that Donatello does. So I've picked out the fast forces from the second set. Here is from the half shell Donatello, 75 points. But I'm going to look myself because I can't remember what he does. Yeah?
Just want to point out for everyone who heard that, you definitely said the phrase turtle power in your head after he said it. There's no one. There's no one who said that phrase without having turtle power going through their head afterwards.
Here's an answer. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so the reason that I picked him is because his special power. Right, you look at him and you go, right, he's got 10 attack, 2 damage, he's got leap and climb. Yeah, I'm never playing him. But his special power is really good. It is trash can over the head. When he hits a single opposing character, the hit character can't use defense powers until your next turn. And when it says defense powers, that is powers in your defense slot. Right,
Okay.
so normally you would go, I've got leap and climb. How the hell am I going to hit anybody? So I have decided to pair him with the Book of the Skull. So
I knew you would go with that.
You knew you would go with that? Yeah, because I just love that resource. So I'm playing Donatello, my full team, and I'll explain what I can do. So I'm playing him, 75 points. I'm playing Alyosha Craven. Alyosha, sorry, I think that's how you pronounce it. Alyosha Craven, 70 points. That's a prime version. I'm playing 25-point Lockjaw from the Inhumans Fast Forces set. I'm playing another turtle just to rub it in. I'm playing Raphael, 50 points from the first set, the one with the penetrating close attacks. There's a full Book of the Skull at 30 points, Split Lip 20 points, and I had 30 points left over. I've thrown in an Age of Ultron drone for Pulse Wave on a second click. So the main thing I'm trying to do here is use the Prime Craven to move around my animal friends. Because both of the turtles have got animal keyword. Lockjaw, who can carry two people as well, he's got the animal keyword, so it makes him really fast. I've got Craven's little lion as well, who comes out turn 1. He can free move, drop a hammer on him, get that one picked up, and go on from there. The main reason I've got the turtles there is for the effects that they have with like the free quakes. Raphael, the 50.1, is doing penetrating quakes because of his power that says he does penetrating damage on close attacks, which is, who else is going to do penetrating quakes? Free action quake is penetrating damage. Yeah, I'll have that. And I'll move him like about 20 squares before I do it with Lockjaw. Donatello, obviously, is 10 attack. I can give him a charge hammer. But again, with the quake, once he's got a hammer, he's got a 12 attack quake. He hits a character, they can no longer use defense powers. You know what we're saying about, what was it? Who's the lady who turns off stop clicks? Can't remember her name.
Dead girl.
Dead girl.
Well, Donatello does as well, because your stop click is in your defense slot 90% of the time. He hits you, your defense powers can't be used, and as I remember playing the Book of the Skulls, and people very occasionally played Iron Paladin, because he has a similar thing where if he makes an attack, he can't use defense powers. But that's just for that attack. Donatello hits you with a quake, and you can't use any defense powers for the rest of the turn. So he hits you, then somebody else follows up. And then, you know, any powers you've got in your slot. So it gets around stop clicks, gets around, he hits you, you've got invincible in your defense slot. You haven't got invincible in your defense slot. So those turtles suddenly go from, you know, Raphael's getting an 11 attack, goes to a 13 with a hammer with penetrating damage. And Donatello, obviously, he's got a reasonably long dial. He's got invulnerability of 6 clicks. You hit him, he'll probably go on to perplex instead of outwit, so you can hang about. And Craven just makes him really mobile. You can actually get use out of your leap and climb if you're getting it as a free action. So yeah, I've cheated a little bit, gone back and used a proper resource and made the turtles great again, I think.
Make the turtle great
I miss Lockjaw.
Yeah.
I miss that Lockjaw.
I do think that this is one thing that we're going to get with the resources being sort of very watered down and not really as powerful. People are just going to focus on the figures that are really good without any sort of buff. So you'll get people playing Jakeem all day long because he's good, because he can pick all his powers and he doesn't really need a lot of stuff to make him good. But somebody like Donatello, you would never ever play 75-point Donatello by himself because he just can't get that attack off to use his really good special power. But giving him charge with a hammer, giving him free action attacks, suddenly makes him really playable. So I think it's going to be a real shame when resources just disappear altogether, and suddenly I think it sort of waters down the figures that you'll actually look at. You'll just be going, well, I don't need to. He's great by himself. He's suddenly anybody without any move and attack powers You're just going to go, well, I'm not going to play him.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, rant over for resources. What did other people come up with?
Dale, do you want to go next?
Yeah, go on then, I'll take this. So, I have also kind of cheated. Donatello is on my team, but he's not going to be on the map at any point ever. I went with the Justice League team, with no resources, just a team. Took Martian Manhunter, the 100-point White Lantern version. I put in World's Finest at the 75 point Click, 25 point Atomica, the 25 point Batman and Superman robot, and Animal Man. Because I've got the full reign of the sideline for all of his animal friends.
Are you putting all Donatellos on the sideline? Is that what you've
Every
done?
single one.
I've put all of
because
them.
they might
but
have different powers.
I've put the 3 different Fast Forces one in because they all pretty much have the same thing, but because I had some room spare.
You might as well just put Donatello on your sideline if you've got space on your sideline.
Yeah, the ones I really went for is Donatello. I went for the first one. For the first Fast Forces one, 75 points because he has outwit and support, and I believe it's the first time you've got support on a animal before.
Animal.
Or at least.
Which one's this? The 104.
TMNT 104.
Is that like from the? It was a starter set.
The start one, yeah.
Rules and stuff. Yeah.
It doesn't really matter which one. It's just because there's a couple of Donatellos that have support. It really just boils down to he's the first one with support, so I'll take that. Although he's going to get dropped for Hellcow a bit later. Well, Devil Dinosaur is in there for TK and basically nothing else. Clarity and the Witch Boy is in there for basically probability control and probably nothing else. The Firstborn's in there for every other power you can think of. They just need to punch things with. So I take it back. Clarion the Witch Boy it has Precision Strike, so there's another option for him. I take a Pied Piper for Mind Control, Incapacitate, and Perplex. And the last one is Streaky the Cat, because I want Type of Sonic. And that's my options to make Animal Man not terrible. He's still not great, but I mean, it's 75 points with an option to pick, I'm going to say 60% of all of the powers on the pack. Maybe, 90% of the good ones. He's alright. He can TK now, so I'll just throw World's Finest at you, and World's Finest just bad at you.
Animal Man doesn't have any range, does he?
He does not. He has.
I think that's one problem with him.
A little bit, but he wouldn't have range. There'd be no hereson to. So essentially, he's only going to have 6 range for all of the support powers. TK is his only option for going any further than that, and his Mind Control have 4. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my daft team. Just getting use out of Animal Man, who I still think will be great eventually.
Make Animal Man great again.
No.
Well, if you give him a hammer, he would at least have a 12 attack.
If I could give him a hammer,
you could even that would give him run shot as well. If you give him run shot hammer, because
you get some range.
It gives you a minimum range.
So
then you could use your Psychic Blast with Clary and the Witch Boy.
If we're going back to your team, Chris, if you wanted to go back as far as you like, I would have just took Donatello with the 5-point trait of lunge. This is super old, but it used to be that you would give him an action, and you could essentially not lunge, pounce. I said I'll remember it. I think it was pounce. It was you had to have leap climb. You could move. It is pounce. I had to have leap climb.
It gives you a little bit of movement.
You can move.
Before you can attack.
Yeah. It's kind of you move your full movement value. You get +1 attack, +1 damage, and you then take 1 unavoidable damage for doing the action. But it was 15 points, which is probably more expensive than the.
But I think that
book
Donatello. I'm just going to say it again. That power is really good. Anything that shuts down defense powers, but it's because his dial is really bad. So it is a shame that you can't buff him up enough to make him really worthwhile. But never mind. Poor Donatello.
But that's my team done. Poor Donny.
Great. Well, although you didn't say modern age, I think, I thought it was implied. So I'm gonna plead that I'm the only one who's built a legal team for this week's challenge, because mine is Modern Age and Donatello is actually on the board. So I'm doing I'm playing the 75-point chase Donatello from the first set with the 11 attack, 3 damage. He has that special attack that causes knockback, giant reach 2. And when he hits one or more opposing characters after actions resolve, he can move up to 2 squares automatically and make a close attack targeting another character. I'm sticking Brainiac on him.
Well, he already has
just to give him impervious.
Into the turtle.
But I, come on, you're lucky I'm playing this one. So I'm playing one turtle, and that's the limit. So to give him impervious and the +1 to damage. And it also gives us an option to choose outward as well. And that mid-dial pulse wave's not bad, but then it's got 0 range, so...
It's pretty bad.
You can boost it up to 1. No,
yeah.
take +1.
You can take +1.
Pulse wave, as long as you stand
I could. Somebody, yeah. So, and I'm playing the Super Red Goliath, the shift and focus one there. Yeah. The one that has the morph trait.
Yeah.
Just basically as a taxi for him, with Dr. Demonicus. I'm going for a sinus theme here. Dr. Demonicus he brings in the Colossals. They're another way of getting Donatello around the map as well. I'm playing that with an Ultron 6 drone, 2 ID cards, level 7 and Triathlon, and a 4-sin box with Sloth, Envy, Lust, and Pride. That way, if one of the characters gets KO'd and I've got a Colossal on the map, or an Ant or whatever, I'll just whack a sin on there so I can get all my sins out. The idea being I want to put 2 sins on Donatello to give him energy shield and to give him combat reflexes. And that's basic. And obviously a sideline with Triathlon, Nick Fury, and all of the morphing Ant-Men. Bringing in the ants to hopefully give him empower as well when he's making his close combat attacks.
For the amount of things you slapped on this Donatello, you could put anyone else in and it would be loads better. Poor Donny.
I know, but come on.
Which is like all damage dealt causes knockback. Because if you give him something like poison, you'd be knocking people back with your poison, which sounds weird. Or like if you give him mystic, they hit you for mystic and then they go flying backwards.
To be fair, the advanced turtle technique trait is also really good with him. It's like I've got range 2, so I'm going to knock you miles, and then I get to move again.
Especially if you can get some empower off the ants, and you go, well, I've got 6 damage now, so my close attack is suddenly hurting it a lot more than it used to. What are my opposing characters?
So that's my team.
And you've got one other job to do as well. Now that we've finished telling our teams to butcher Donatello.
Oh, you haven't prepared.
It's my turn.
Can you just pick another turtle?
Oh dear. No. No. Given the amount of Deadpool stuff that's been talked about and the new set coming out, I'm going to pick Deadpool.
Can we?
Modern Age. Can I just get that in there? Modern Age using a Deadpool from the new set.
Deadpool,
so all of the chases.
For example.
Any variation of Wade Wilson.
It has to be.
So that includes the chases.
Okay, but not all the chases. Not all the chases are half of most. None of the chases are Wade Wilson. Almost all of them have got different names.
Have they?
Almost all of them have real names, and not all of them are Wade Wilson. MODOK, for example, or the Deadpool MODOK, has that his real name is the anagram for the Deadpool thing.
I'm sure you'll never find that on an ID card.
Like, no, you probably won't. I'm pretty sure.
Pirate Deadpool does. Pool Captain does. Pulp Deadpool does.
Okay, I'll stand by.
Okay, it has to be
I'll stand by what I say.
Okay.
So any Wade Wilson.
Yes. Okay.
Modern age, yes, modern age. Yeah.
But we are including Deadpool in that.
Otherwise,
Yes.
it would be
Sweet.
fairly
Okay,
limited.
I can do this. Deadpool.
All right.
A little bit.
Because there'd be nobody.
Sweet.
Right.
There's not a modern age Deadpool apart from that set, is there?
No. If that would literally be that would be everyone. if it includes Deadpool, it would be hard to do.
Okay. So right. Okay. So should we move on to tactics now, Chris? I understand you got
Wait a minute,
something
you
to talk about.
Yes.
Over to you again.
Death
Yes,
Mask.
it's all you this week.
That is still, and
Death
he's
Mask is
a
called Wade Wilson.
2013 convention exclusive, so he's still strictly modern age.
He is.
Yeah, well,
He's also crap.
He's fun to play.
He's
though.
fun. He is. I will definitely give you that.
Yeah.
right. Okay,
Oh my
let's
God.
get cracking. Tactics.
Tactics.
I've been a bit more general this time, and it's sort of more of a strategy, as I would say, rather than the specific tactic that you would do in a game. What I'm want to have a quick discussion around today is, I've just called it points denial. You hear that phrase sort of bandied around a little bit. I don't think it's sort of a specific definition of what that means, but I've basically taken it to mean that you are playing a team that specifically prevents your opponent from getting points from you. So something as an extreme version of it, which might be looking at, say, the Don't Die teams, with like Resurrection Man, Dead Man, and somebody else, with Dupe or Joker, Mystique, that sort of thing. So that is an extreme example where basically they're just saying, you come and try and get points off me, and I will try and kill your little squishy character and win the game. But I'll say that I think that's the extreme version of it. I can say that the team that I was playing in the WKO, where I was basically trying to, when I was thinking about these tactics, I'll go, right, I'll do that, because I think that's sort of what I was trying to do with my team. I'm not really playing... I'm playing 3 figures, all of which are reasonably hard to kill. Mixie was like a bit easier to kill than the others, which consequently meant that he died all the time. But I was basically looking at, can I just kill something, and then if I need to, I can run. Because Jakeem and Bizarre Green Arrow, even if Mixie died, I know Jakeem and Bizarre Green Arrow were then really difficult to kill for quite a few teams, because they were mobile, and because obviously Bizarre Green Arrow is really hard to kill, and Jakeem can heal himself quite a few different ways. He can pick Steal Energy or Regen and stuff like that. So I won games. So I think this just comes down to you're looking at it playing the game a slightly different way. You see what I mean? A lot of the time you're looking at, right, I'm just going to try and take my opponent's team out. I'm going to go for the highest point character and just kill them. If you're looking at sort of a points denial, trying to play point denial, you're basically looking at figuring out, what do I need to kill on my opponent's team, and what can I just ignore? So in some teams you go, well, that figure is not very mobile. My team is very mobile. I do not need to attack him. I'll kill his mobile figure, and then I can run away, because my team is really hard to kill. And you don't necessarily have to be, maybe it's really hard to kill, you can just be super mobile. So I think this comes back to, I changed my team. I was going to play Quinjet. I changed my team because of the popularity in Don't Die teams, because they're really hard to get points off. I knew my team was giving away a lot of points, and I thought if I faced that sort of team, I would lose. And one thing I really don't like, I don't like to play a team that basically loses just by turning up and depending on what the opponent. I always want to play a team that has a chance against everything. So, and I think now you've seen a lot of, with WizKids, what they're bringing out is a lot of cheap characters that do quite a lot, like say like Colossal Retaliators and things like that. You can get, you go through 25 point or below figures, and there's tons and tons of really effective figures, but they're all squishy. So I think things like we've seen, or if you go through like the list of the WKO winners, there's about 3 or 4 people who are playing Don't Die teams and they're winning WKOs. They're winning them in America where there's probably about 40 or 50 people playing. So they've obviously seen to be, they're hitting their, they become very, I mean obviously they're going with Pandora's Box to get super defensive, they're going with things that are really hard to kill or can heal up, things like that. And they're winning because a lot of teams like are playing ID cards as well. So you're playing ID cards, you're playing like Colossal Retaliators, and suddenly they're getting 20 or 30 points and you just can't kill them. So I think it's a as I say, maybe it's not a tactic you can adopt in a game, but I mean a tactic you can adopt in a game, but you sort of build it into your team, so where you can say, well, I can play points denial, I can limit severely the points I want to give away by just build my team, but I could do it and still being aggressive. So I'm not going to Don't Die, I'm not going to the extreme of Don't Die, and just saying, right, I can't really kill anything, I'm just hoping that you're playing a squishy figure and I can kill it. I'm going I can limit my points losses. I might have ID cards, but I don't rely on them, so I can decide I'm not going to use them. So obviously if you're playing a Quinjet or something, you need to use ID cards. You're going to really struggle if suddenly somebody says you can't use ID cards. So but I'm playing a team that can be aggressive, can take stuff out, can get up on points, and then looking at also being, well, I need mobility as well. So when I get up on points, I take out who I need to take out, and then I can just run away and I can win like that. So I think it's just about, that's basically what strategy you have. And playing, I think Jakeem works well because then you can adapt it. He can be, this was, using him as an example because he's obviously very popular and it's the figure I used. He can adapt to whatever your opposing team is and say, oh well, I need to pulse wave this guy, I need to hypersonic this guy, I need to pick Precision Strike or Battle Fury against this guy. And because he's quite mobile as well, obviously he can hypersonic. And it just changes your strategy, really. And it just going back to, I'm just going to pick out a couple of other teams that maybe were doing the same sort of thing. Dale, I think the team that you played when you won the Nationals can do that. Because you had really you were playing 2 figures, you weren't playing anything squishy, you had 2 really hard to kill guys, you were layering on defense with them, they had super high defense, but they could also be aggressive. So if somebody played a Don't Die team against you, you were going, well, you're not getting any points off me, because you're never going to kill any of the figures that you had, and well, all I need to do is take some points off somebody. I can be aggressive if I want to, but I don't have to be. And I'm pretty mobile as well.
Though, apart from the one game I lost against Alex in the round robin, I think I tabled everybody except until the last 6. And even then I managed to kill 600 points worth of alpha primitives. And I think it was just your team I couldn't take out because of the super complexities that you like to build into your teams here. It's just a kind of strategy thing, isn't it? Some teams can do it. I think that's everything from Chris. I think that's everything from us, isn't that, Sean?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's it for the show. So hopefully, as I say, this episode will be out in time. But I just wanted to remind people again that we've got WizKids open on a Geek Retreat in Newcastle this Sunday. Doors open at 12. Looking to start at 12:30. Come on down. Hope to see you all there. But I think if you guys haven't got anything else, then we'll just wrap up there. Then yeah, right.
Yeah, great. Well,
so,
thanks
for listening. Bye.